What's up guys, and welcome back to another Red Dead Redemption 2 feature overview. In today's episode we'll dive head on into the combat in Red Dead Redemption 2 and we'll cover everything from the major mechanics to the most subtle details there are. And trust me when I say this, there are a lot of details in this game that make the combat feel very satisfying. Some of this information was brought up to light in a recent IGN livestream, so I decided it would be a nice way to make time pass a little bit easier while news is getting slow. This video will be split into several parts as I'll treat hand-to-hand combat and weapons separately into their own respective sections, so I hope you all have some popcorn at hand, aim that like button in the meantime, and let's get down to business. Starting things right off with the combat, the general feel in Red Dead Redemption 2 doesn't stray too far away from how it was, for example, in GTA 5 or even in the previous Red Dead Redemption. This is basically the same physics engine used ever since Grand Theft Auto 4, and if you play any of the games released by Rockstar Games since then, you're going to be very familiar with this one as well. Of course, the system has been improved since then, and in the case of Red Dead Redemption 2, it was adjusted to feel truly Western, and what that means is that it's going to be quite slower compared to how it was in GTA 5. It takes more time to kill an enemy, which also slows down the pace of battle quite a bit, but headshots will also mean an instant death to the enemy, so you don't have to worry about taking too much time to kill an enemy. If you place a shot well enough, you're gonna be able to one-shot kill everybody, but other than that, any other body shot will take quite some time to take down an enemy. You'll also have less bullets to shoot, meaning that each shot you fire will count. Additionally, there's quite a lot of gore involved in the game, way beyond simple dismemberment, which by the way also exists in Red Dead Redemption 2. Not only can you blow other people's limbs off, but you can also make bullet holes in their bodies, and depending on the size of the bullet itself, it can either remain in the enemy's body or it can leave with an exit wound. A very grim example was given by IGN recently. If you happen to shoot somebody in the eye, it leaves a very gruesome and bloody hole in the head. Similarly, if you happen to shoot an animal with a high caliber weapon, it can leave quite a nasty exit wound, and that can ruin the pelt itself. These were just some of the very grim details that exist in this game, and there are definitely many more, but so far it was reported that shooting weapons in this game feels very satisfying, both visually and when it comes to the sound itself. Moving on to the controls, you shoot by pressing once on your R2 button on your controller. This isn't standard to all of the weapons though, and some will require a 2-button press, one to shoot and the other one to reload the next round. Double tapping R2 will do a hip fire or a rapid fire, which is pretty useful when getting ambushed or if you want to draw your weapon really fast, and pressing L1 on your controller will holster your weapon. Meanwhile, double tapping this button will also cause Morgan to do a very cool spin of his weapon before holstering it in. Pulling off a close combat execution is something you'll also be able to do, and you can do this by doing a gut shot when the enemy is close to you or when you're in a tight situation. Pretty useful to get rid of somebody who is in your way. Something different that has yet to exist in any video game coming from Rockstar Games is the warning shot. This has a great importance with how detailed the AI is, and you can fire warning shots by using the up button on your D-pad when your weapon is unholstered. The reason I'm saying this is important is because thanks to the very advanced interaction system, you don't always have to rely on shooting or killing somebody to achieve your goal. Sometimes simply drawing out your weapon or shooting a warning shot in the air is more than enough to persuade people. In fact, you can threaten someone with your gun even if you don't have any bullets in it, and it's not like they can find out unless you of course try to shoot your empty weapon. As for cycling between the weapons you have on yourself, this is done with the use of a weapons wheel, and this is probably something you're already familiar with because it exists in literally every video game released by Rockstar Games. Moving on to the weapon types themselves, there's quite a wide selection to pick from. There are several types of pistols and revolvers, rifles and shotguns, as well as melee weapons such as knives. We also have throwables like throwable knives, dynamite, fire bombs, and there's even a Gatling gun in the game, as you can see in one of the screenshots posted some time ago. This is a static weapon, but it shoots bullets at a very high rate. I'm not sure if it's the only big weapon in the game, but it's definitely very powerful. All weapons have their own stats as well, and so far far the stats that have been discovered are damage, range, fire rate, reload, accuracy, and finally the condition. All of these stats are from a scale from 0 to 4, and they can also be affected by the condition your gun is in. So for example, the weapon degradation will affect the stats over time if your gun wasn't taken care of. It's been reported that there's even the possibility for the weapon to rust and to misfire or jam if you leave it in this condition. So pretty cool details, and there are even a lot of upgrades for weapons themselves. Like these stats can be further improved with certain types of upgrades, and such upgrades have even been found and named by some of the people who got first-hand experience with the game itself. So an upgrade called Bandolier increases ammo capacity for long arm weapons, and it increases it by 50%. Gunbolt makes base ammo for sidearms to increase by 50%, and then there's another upgrade called Holster, which slows degradation of all weapons by 20%. Additionally, there's a lot of weapon customization in the game for materials, parts such as handles or barrels, and you can even engrave your gun to make it look very personalized and high quality. This of course is all done at the gunsmith, where you can both purchase guns and upgrade them. Since we're still on the subject of guns and crafting, you'd want to know that ammo is fully craftable in the game as well, both for bullets and arrows as well. You can craft like hollow point bullets, split point bullets. I think there's even the possibility to craft fire arrows, and these are just some of the possibilities that exist in the game. I'm sure that there are definitely many more for all sorts of occasions. Dual wielding is also a possibility, and it's not yet certain if this skill is unlocked by simply playing the game, like for example how it was in GTA San Andreas, or if it's going to require some additional items like a second holster or a second pistol. The details go so extensive here that you can even shoot a weapon from an enemy's hand, though I would imagine that would be quite hard to do as it requires quite a little bit of skill to pull off. There's also a dynamic kill camera, much like how it was in Max Payne 3, or if you're unfamiliar with that one, it's pretty similar to the one in Sniper Elite. Basically how this works is that when eliminating the last remaining enemy in a group, there's going to be a kill shot sequence with your character basically finishing off the last guy in a very satisfying manner. And depending on how honorable or dishonorable you are, this kill camera can be affected to either be more gory and gruesome, showing only the victim getting capped very brutally, or being more heroic and focused on Morgan himself. So pretty nice details. Moving on to Deadeye, the slow motion bullet time of this game. It comes with several levels that you can upgrade, much like how it was in the previous Red Dead Redemption. The first three are in effect very similar to how it was in the previous game, and they provide similar stats. So the first level provides time slowdown, the second one target painting, which is at level 2, and at level 3 you get manual target painting, very similar to how it was previously. Finally, at level 4 it highlights critical hit areas on your target, such as for example organs, and this has been reported to be very useful in hunting, especially when hunting legendary creatures. As for level 5 and onward, there's not much info on it, but I would presume there's just one more level left after this. And finally we'll move on to the hand-to-hand combat. As I've said, I'm going to treat this separately. Quite a bit of it was shown in the gameplay trailer from last month, and according to Rockstar Games it was significantly improved compared to the previous game. Various scenes can be seen where you can chase down and tackle running enemies, you can engage in physical combat with the enemy or grab him and throw him down. Ambushing with a knife is also possible if you do it from behind with a knife equipped, of course. Speaking of ambush, you can totally play Red Dead Redemption 2 in a more stealthy manner, and this mechanic exists in the game. Of course, since you don't have access to a silencer for your weapon, you'll have to rely either on your bow, your throwables, or on your knife takedowns. The enemies will react depending on the sound levels themselves, which means that keeping quiet will let you take some of them out until they get alerted. Finally, I'll also mention the AI briefly, as this might be important. According to some of the folks who have first-hand experience playing this game, the AI does show advanced tactics when trying to take you on. They'll take advantage of the environment surrounding you, climbing up for better positioning or flanking you when that is possible. And if you're choosing to play with a gang member, which is something that you can do in this game, you can also control them with stuff like, for example, where should they position themselves or which target to kill next and so on. And you can bring several of the Vanderling gang members members with you. So pretty cool stuff. These are all of the details regarding the combat in Red Dead Redemption 2 that is available at the current time, and there are many more little details that I have left out, so you can discover them for yourselves, and I'm pretty sure that the game contains way more than has been so far seen. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, a like and a subscribe would be super appreciated. Also, do not forget about the notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next one, so peace out.